Alright, kiddos, gather around because Molly ain't feeling too good. And you're gonna need to get extra close to hear me right, because I am not going to be yelling, not gonna be screaming. The original plan for this was a lot more intensive, but yeah, that fell through. And I'm so sick. I really don't feel like recording, but I gotta get a video out eventually here. So I've been actually marathoning Titans, which is the Netflix original spin-off for Teen Titans. And here's the thing, I, like most of you, thought it looked like shit from the still images, but there's this old saying that goes, never judge a book by its cover, and boy, was I wrong. Okay, so I understand why people hate Teen Titans Go. I understand why they'll hate Titans for the same reason. To actually review a show and critique a show, you have to take into account what is artist's intent, which means the intention behind the artwork that you are critiquing. Teen Titans Go isn't trying to be the Teen Titans, and to try to ding it for things that it's not trying to do, such as producing a serious episodic narrative, is asinine. Likewise, Titans is not Teen Titans or Teen Titans Go. It is something completely different, and to try to ding it for not meeting the same criteria as those shows would also be asinine. Titans is a more gritty, realistic take on the Teen Titans in the DC universe, and I think it's a lot more disconnected than even a lot of the other Netflix original series that feature Marvel and DC characters. And for instance, Robin in this world is not afraid to get his hands dirty. He constantly kills people without a second thought. He's also an adult in this. In fact, the only two teens of the Teen Titans here would be Raven and Beast Boy. And while I know a lot of people were harping on Raven's look, she doesn't actually look that bad. And Beast Boy, I actually always kind of thought was a pretty nice looking guy. I thought his character was done pretty well. There's actually a lot more depth to this show than people probably realize, because a lot of people are only familiar with the Titans from Toonami and not the actual Teen Titans and the numerous versions that there are of them. There's also an absent character, Cyborg. And while Cyborg is an amazing character, he simply doesn't make sense in this universe. While there are robots in this universe, there's nothing on the scale of Cyborg. There's no Justice League for him to be the guardian of the Watchtower. There's no advanced computer systems for him to interact with. He really just would be super out of place in a world that seems much more grounded in today's modern time. Boston Dynamics are making leaps and bounds in robotics, but we're nowhere near having a booyah shouting meatball blasting disaster such as Cyborg. But that being said, I actually enjoy the gritty reality of this Titans universe. There's something to be said about putting this super powered world into this realistic, or at least more realistic world that we can more easily relate to. Jump City was this futuristic city filled with all kinds of fantastical things. Everyday life in that place is amazing, whereas this puts you in places that just look like areas you could go. It's normal places with fantastical people and happenings, and sometimes ordinary people being thrusted into fantastical situations, something way more easier for you to imprint yourself on and become more empathetic about to the storyline. There are some negative things obviously with this show, and I don't want to make it seem like it's literally a 9 out of 10, but I'd honestly probably give it around an 8. The story is a little bit boring. Not in the fact that it's badly done or that it's not suspenseful, it's just, I know all of this. Most of the people watching this video will know Raven's backstory. We all know she's the end of times, that's what she's here for. But normal people who haven't seen any Teen Titans, they won't have known that. And it is kind of revealed pretty early on that something is at least up, and eventually they do come right out and say it around, I think, episode 5 or maybe 6. But most of these characters' backstories are pretty much known, except for Beast Boy's. Beast Boy's story never really got fleshed out in the original Teen Titans, or the Toonami version that is, and even when it did, it was really quick. So getting to see Beast Boy's storyline again is actually kind of refreshing, especially since they upped up the time. Beast Boy's no longer 10, he's the normal teenager, and it follows the same kind of cast of people. We know about Negative Man and some of the other people who he worked with, though it does have a slight twist. Negative Man never actually uses his powers, but you can see him here. Elastic Woman is there, but she doesn't actually really do anything, and she doesn't seem to have any control over her powers at this point in time. The Robo Man is also there, but again, he's really proto Robo Man. And I didn't even know this, but the Chief is actually, yeah, from the comics as well. In fact, this entire story arc for Beast Boy is, well, canon since the 52, I believe. Though maybe I'm mistaken, I haven't really caught up on all of New 52. Beast Boy at current can only transform into a tiger, which you may think is nerfing him, but that's actually an improvement from what he was originally around power-wise when he was with his original group before joining up with the Teen Titans. Beast Boy used to only be able to transform into very small animals, but it was a psychological thing, as they said. In this one, it's only a psychological reason as to why he can only transform into tiger. And of course, this wouldn't really be a video if I didn't address the probably most asinine outrage there is. Starfire. Yes, she's black. Look, I get it. I used to prescribe to the skeptic community's culture of outrage as well, in which people would tell you that black characters playing white characters, that's insane. That's crazy. Here's what I'll say. I'm 100% for blackface and I'm 100% for whiteface. Actors are actors. They're not playing themselves. So why do they have to be constrained to playing a certain race? I understand why they didn't make Starfire just bright orange, but get this, Starfire is not white either. No matter what character or person played her, she wouldn't be the correct race because she's from outer space. Asking Starfire to be white is the same thing as asking Harry Potter to be black. It doesn't make sense. But in this world, it's supposed to be more tied to realism. And so they just chose to make her black. Could there have been some sort of social justice narrative behind it? Sure, possibly, but I have no idea if it was or not. So I'm just going to hope that the best actor won and that there was a reason for her being black, and it was simply because that was the best actor. Now, I will say her look is very different. Now, Starfire never dressed really modestly. That wasn't really her shtick, but she does look literally like a hooker in this, and that's actually explained and commented on a lot of times. As a character is actually way less ditzy than your Teen Titans counterpart, and is an extremely badass if I'm honest. Though so is Robin, so don't feel like I'm leaving out the guys here. I really just don't think that her being black has that much impact on the story. I don't think it's really anything to complain about, though I'm sure multiple people will make 22-minute long videos explaining why you should be outraged that a fictional alien creature is played by a black character instead of a white character, or an Asian character, or a Vietnamese character. Starfire could be white for all I care. She could be black. It's not really important. As long as this actor still acted well, I'm happy. And I would hope that majority of my audience would agree. So Titans is a good show. It's just not Teen Titans. This isn't the reboot that you're looking for, but it is what you guys have asked for a majority of kid and teen shows. You've always, or at least my audience has always wanted an adult-oriented kids show. They've wanted to take shows like MLP, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, all those shows, and they've wanted to give them an adult spin where they're able to tackle a certain subject matter and situations that couldn't be covered due to a rating restriction. And this is literally that happening for Teen Titans. So if that's what you want to see, I would honestly recommend that you support the official release and go watch it. At least give it a chance. I can understand if you just genuinely do not like this because it is too realistic and you don't like a lot of realism in your superhero movies. That's a totally fair position to have. But on the other hand, I love dramas and I enjoy something that can be fantastical while still maintaining some sort of sense of realism so that I can better associate with it in my everyday life. But that's just one person's opinion. I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, click subscribe, and turn on that little bell notification to, actually get notified. I've been Faith Luminous, guys. I love your faces, so I hope you at least like my video, and I'll see you in the next one.
Woo! I do it for the love.